These chuckle fucks aren't above the law.
Yeah. Who are you referring to over
I'm
there?
referring to the Freedom Convoy.
I was going through some of my footage from the time I spent in Ottawa, and I was reminded that there was another interview I did with one of the counter-protesters. And I think it's an interesting little chat that he and I have, and you'll notice that, and he wasn't the only one who did this, but it seemed like all the counter-protesters were really interested in first figuring out what side I was on. They needed to categorize me, it seemed, and as you'll see, I kind of resist that. I do share my views eventually, but I was trying to resist him putting me in one category or the other. We ended up having a decent chat in the
These chuckle
end.
fucks aren't above the law.
Who are you referring to? I've just got yours. I'm not sure who you're referring to over
I'm
there.
referring to the Freedom Convoy.
Oh, okay.
It appears that there's a different level of policing being applied to them than there are in other protests throughout the country, and I think that's wrong.
Okay. Do you think the level of policing is appropriate if it was only one instance? I understand relative to other ones, you think it's inappropriate, it sounds like. But on its own, would you want the other ones to be more like this or this one to be more like the other ones?
The protest, you're saying the Ferry Creek one?
I'm not familiar with Ferry Creek. I mean, you can tell me about it. Wet'suwet'en, I know a little bit. It was a number of Indigenous people.
I'm not objecting to the protests themselves.
Sure.
Either side.
Okay. Yeah.
What I'm saying is it appears that there's a police presence that get applied differently
Okay.
when the people are Indigenous or of color.
Oh dear, my camera just cacked out.
That's okay.
I'm following you though, I think.
That's okay, man. Technology isn't for all
It
of us.
sucks. So, yeah, you were talking about Wet'suwet'en and Ferry Creek. I mentioned I'm not familiar with Ferry Creek, but if I'm picking up, you think the police seem to apply things differently depending on the makeup of the crowd in terms of whether it's Indigenous or people of color versus...
Well, it's more about who the people protesting.
Okay.
In Ferry Creek, they kicked down a door and arrested journalists.
Okay. The police did.
The police did.
Yeah.
That's what people who study politics like to call a monopoly on the use of force.
Okay.
That's what police use.
Right. Yes, I've heard that term.
Either way, man.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So you
thanks
would
very much
okay.
for,
so you would
for
prefer
coming here and covering this, but
would you,
I don't want to. I really would prefer to not talk to the camera anymore.
I'm just wondering, would you prefer that the police were more like that, where they're kicking down the door and being maybe less well behaved, or are you wishing that they would be as well behaved as they are now when they were kicking down doors? Because if it's the latter, I certainly agree with you. Like if they're doing things that are illegal, the police, that's not cool. I'm just curious what standard, whether you're wishing this was held to the other standard.
I just wish that they would enforce the current traffic laws and and the laws on public drunkenness. I saw about 18 people on my way down here with beers in hand.
Yeah.
You know, like if you start giving people fines, maybe they don't poop on the ground anymore.
That's a good point. Thank you very much for taking the time, and I appreciate just your courage and your willingness to come out, say what's on your mind. I believe that you have a full right to express your views, and it's awesome that you're taking that time to make them known.
Where do you fall on the protest, my man?
Where do I fall on the protest? Do you have a more specific question? Because it sort of depends. Like,
I mean, where do you fall? What is your opinion on the protests and the counter protests?
Yeah, well, I don't know much about the counter protests, to be honest. That's why I was just curious. In terms of the protests, got here yesterday. We were here on Monday of Tuesday of last week, and from what I've seen, people have been like really well behaved. It's a family environment. I see kids out. I see people sharing food. I see people blessing one another, thanking the police. It's been really peaceful. Now, I'm not every place at all times, and I've seen the news. I think someone danced on a monument.
Yeah.
I don't support that. I respect our veterans, and I'd hope that most people, no matter what side you're on, will respect public monuments. So I don't dispute that there might be a very few people that did some bad behavior, and I denounce that behavior. Yeah. But by and large,
You're the first person from the convoy that I've heard denounce.
I don't know if I'm from the convoy per se, but anyway, I appreciate. I think you're
here on Tuesday.
Yeah, I was
and
here.
You've been here since then?
No, we were here Monday, Tuesday. We went home, and then we got back yesterday. So we've walked the streets a couple days, a couple nights, and now we're back. Are you
from Ottawa?
No, we're from Guelph, Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did come for the protest, though. You didn't just happen to find yourself in
sure.
Ottawa.
Yeah. We're here for a hockey tournament. Just kidding.
Oh,
yeah. No, we were
here
here
for
to.
a hockey tournament.
No, I was being facetious. No, you're right. We came to see what was going on. I personally against the vaccine mandates.
So you do fall with the Freedom
Well,
Convoy.
I don't know if I don't know all these people. Like, there's tens of thousands of them. They probably have tastes in music that are different than mine.
We're united in solidarity. That's what a protest is. Did you come down here to support what their message is?
Well,
that means you're united in solidarity.
You have to tell me what their message is, because
I don't even think they could tell you what their message is.
Well, because they're made up of different people, and each person has their own views.
Also, if you read the memorandum of understanding, it's kind of crazy.
But I can tell you a couple of things that I do believe in. I believe in the freedom to protest.
As do I.
Here, brother.
That's why I'm here.
I agree with you on that. Okay. No, even if you have views that are reprehensible to me, I believe you have the right to voice them peacefully.
Yeah.
You don't get the right to burn something down. You don't get the right to do that. But you can stand here with a placard and say what you want, and I affirm that. I personally believe that the vaccine mandates have gone too far. You might differ, and I still respect your view, but that's my view. I used to be a firefighter. I lost my job because I was not willing to share my vaccine mandate. You might think that's right or wrong. It's my choice, exactly. That's sort of my point. So I'm not sure if that gives you a flavor for what I believe. I could go on if you want to ask me specific things that I either believe or support or don't believe. I'll be willing to answer them. But to say very broadly, do I support all those people? Well, they're a multitude. They're a group. We talk to different people. Some of them might have taste in music that's different than mine. Some might have different views about Trudeau. Like,
some of them might have Nazi flags.
I haven't seen how many Nazi. How many?
Not all of them. But
how many have you seen?
Six. I've seen 6 images of 6 different flags.
Images. How many have you seen in person here?
Pardon me?
How many Nazi flags have you seen in person here, live, not on social media?
You're right.
0, right?
I'm willing to admit that.
Thank you. No, good for you. And you know what? I know we're on different sides of this, but I believe that
I did see someone walk by in the news with a Nazi flag in the background.
You know what? I saw that too. And just in case you guys don't understand, like maybe I'm out with that side, I hereby denounce Nazism. It's abhorrent.
It's sad that you
they
have
are
to
not
say
with
that,
you.
though.
I know it is, but what I'm telling you is I've walked with these people, and I would encourage you. I mean, you could walk in there with your signs, but if you wanted to be more neutral, put your signs down and just go walk. Go talk to the families.
I think one of the best things that I'm proud of here is actually not being neutral, because I feel like I'm being harassed in my own studies.
And I denounce anyone who's harassing you.
Yeah. And I
You know, I
that.
believe something maybe different than you, but I hereby denounce anyone who's like being uncivil to you.
Kind of justice, because a lot of the people from the convoy come from Alberta to Saskatchewan. I don't want to be filmed.
Okay, I'm just going to point my camera this way.
Okay, but no filming.
Well, that's up to me. You can't. You know what? I'm not going to be a jerk. Like.
No, it's okay. But the thing is that this is.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate talking to you. Okay, I wish you well. Thank you. How's it going?
Good, you?
So far, so good?
Yeah.